Welcome to our latest Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Today we're headed back to Mackinac Island for the second of 3 parts of our tour of this beautiful island resort. In our first video, we took a look at a lot of history of Mackinac Island along Market Street and headed up to the Grand Hotel to take a good look at the hotel. Today we're going to head down by the shores of Lake Michigan and Lake Huron and take a look at Main Street and some of the history and historical buildings along that famous avenue here in Mackinac Island. Mackinac Island has a long and rich history that dates back thousands of years. The first known inhabitants of the island were the Nishabi people, who called it Michilimackinac, meaning Great Turtle Island. The island was a strategic location for trade and transportation, and it was soon visited by European explorers, including Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet. In the 17th century, the French established a fur trading post on Mackinac Island. The island became a major center for the fur trade, and it was also a key military outpost. The British took control of the island during the 7 Years' War from 1756 to 1763, but the Americans regained it after the American Revolutionary War that ended in 1783. After the War of 1812, Mackinac Island became a popular tourist destination. The island's natural beauty and its historic landmarks attracted visitors from all over the world. In the late 19th century, Mackinac Island became a popular summer resort for wealthy families. The island's hotels, cottages, and restaurants catered to the needs of these people then as they do today. Today, Mackinac Island is a popular tourist destination for people of all ages. The island is car-free, which makes it a peaceful and relaxing place to wander around. During this walk, we'll head down Main Street, which has many of the tourist areas, hotels, cottages, and a little bit later on, some very historic buildings that you'll see. Main Street has always reflected the major industry of Mackinac Island. During the fur trade era, the beach was lined with fur-laden birch bark canoes and small shops, taverns, and homes used by traders, voyageurs, and fur company clerks that lined what was once a dirt street. Large docks used for shipping whitefish and lake trout appeared during the fishing boom times during Mackinac Island. Coopers plying their trade on Main Street shops provided barrels for transporting the fish. And along with the times of tourism in the late 1900s, there came resort hotels, curio shops, candy stores, and so much more. If visitors know only one thing about Mackinac Island, it's likely to be that automobiles are banned. Harassed as we often are by traffic and parking problems, that in itself makes this island unique. Today, you see the orderly line of horse-drawn carriages here on Main Street, all waiting their turn to move to a loading area or to pick up or drop off customers. But it wasn't always so. Until well after the turn of the 20th century, independent hack drivers maneuvered their rigs close to the dock and accosted visitors with a hard sell of the best rides at the lowest price. It was free enterprise, but a little too enterprising for the relaxing and carefree visits most tourists wanted. So eventually the drivers formed the Mackinac Island Carriage Tours Incorporated, and they began offering prescribed tour routes with fixed rates. Today, many of these tours cover the natural and historic attractions on about a 1.5 hour ride throughout of Mackinac Island. As we walk here along Main Street and take a look at some of the shops along the way, you'll notice that there are a ton of fudge shops here on Mackinac Island. From its humble beginnings in Murdoch's 1880s Main Street Candy Kitchen, fudge became a phenomenal Mackinac Island success story. The idea of island tourists buying sweets dates back to early travelers who purchased birkbark mookucks, which were made of maple sugar. Many late 19th century stores carried choice candies among their wide assortment of tourist goods. Murdoch's store was the first to exclusively sell candy, and they soon learned that the fascinating process of making slub fudge attracted visitors who couldn't resist this creamy confection. Ever since, fudge has been the perfect product for tourists. It can be eaten on the spot, carried along for a snack around the island, or even mailed home to those who are less fortunate not to enjoy the experience of Mackinac Island. More than a dozen shops turn out thousands of pounds of fudge each year for summer visitors. There's a variety of flavors, and they're all mixed in these huge copper kettles, cooled on marble slabs, and cut into rectangular pieces. And in many of these shops, you can see it right before your nose.
We're biking.
This one.
Yeah. Watch the people go by. Did you know, Ross?
वो लोग चलाते थे बट
How often we can talk about?
always gotta go through the rest. Yeah. You know what?
Maybe we just I don't want to be concerned for your parents.
Yeah, we're trying. Qualities here.
The park onto the left of us, just across from us from the visitor center, is Marquette Park. It's a pleasant place to stretch out on the grass and watch boats and people go by. But it also has a long history. For decades, this area was used by soldiers as the fort garden. Despite the short growing season in northern Michigan, this plot of land usually produced a bountiful crop of vegetables that greatly enhanced the soldiers' meals and provided necessary nutrition. Soon after the Army abandoned Fort Mackinac in 1895, the Mackinac Island State Park Commission transformed the garden into a park honoring the Jesuit missionary Jacques Marquette.
Excuse you. If there was a place where you could backpack the third apple. May I take your picture?
No, that's okay.
It's too high.
Ahead of us is the Richard and Jane Minogian Mackinac Art Museum. This art museum houses a wonderful collection of fine and decorative art inspired by Mackinac through the ages, including Native American bead and quill work, historic paintings and maps, decorative arts, historic photographs, contemporary art, and guided tours of the museum itself. This large white building that we see here is a hotel called Island House. This hotel was constructed in 1852 and is Mackinac's oldest operating hotel. The Island House was constructed by Charles O'Malley, the first of many Irish settlers who immigrated from counties Mayo and Galloway to Mackinac Island beginning in the 1830s.
But you're paying every time you go, it's $80.
No, what I did is I just cut the smaller holes I could.
You didn't get, did you use the hotel silk back cover? Yeah. Well, that's the only thing I used that was different, that we're wondering.
I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have taken that long to kick in.
Well, they said that we actually. The only thing that was really different was the tuna she ate.
She ate tuna.
She had tuna. I'm gonna go back and look at that for later.
Yeah, prior to building that, I had a Paul Mario and then I had a big again, landed.
Oops, excuse me.
I'm sorry, Mom, that was so rude.
Ahead of us, we see the steeple for St. Anne's Church. St. Anne's Catholic Church can trace its roots back to a 1670 mission on Mackinac Island. The mission was moved to St. Ignace and later around 1708 to the south side of the Straits of Mackinac near Mackinac City. The first church dedicated to St. Anne was constructed in 1742, and the building was moved across the ice to Mackinac Island and placed on the village below the fort in 1780. This church was later moved once again, and this structure was built in 1874. I hope you've enjoyed this Wandering Walks tour here on the second part of our tour of Mackinac Island. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on our next walk. Take care now. Bye-bye.